Now, if you bring in Rodgers, the objective is to bring him in to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to stunt the growth of your top 10 overall pick for no reason, just to bypass another season. James, you played with Rodgers. Yeah. You won a Super Bowl with Rodgers. You know what he's capable of, but we have been witnessing the chaos of this decision for weeks now, mounting into months. I'm tired of it, but very simply, can Rodgers bring the Vikings a Super Bowl?
Rodgers gives them the best chance, and y'all know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. That's my dog. I feel like he can take any organization to the Super Bowl. I just got confidence in him like that. He gives them the best chance, but I don't want to see it, man. Go with the young boy. Let the young boy play football. You drafted him 10 overall. Let him play football. And to be honest with you, I hate what the Minnesota Vikings are doing. Give the young boy some confidence. Let him know you're the starter, man. Let him know this is your football team. We drafted you 10th overall. Let all the Aaron Rodgers talk go out the window. We believe in you. The best thing Ted Thompson did for me and Greg Jennings, right? Brett Favre was there. Brett Favre was pushing for Randy Moss at the time. Go trade for Randy Moss. And Ted Thompson came up to me and Greg Jennings, and he said, hey, man, I believe in y'all boys. I drafted y'all boys. I'm not getting him. But it just was a confidence builder for us. Not saying we turned out to be Randy Moss. Greg Jennings turned out to be phenomenal. I did what I did in my career. We got a Super Bowl out of it. But just the confidence of your GM telling you, bruh, we're not going to get him. Go out there and play football. We drafted you. We developing y'all. Let's go play. Get a young boy some confidence. Stop having a young boy thinking, is this my team? Am I going to play? Is Aaron Rodgers coming? All that. Aaron Rodgers does give you the best chance right now, but for the future, let the young quarterback play, and I think you can be able to, with the roster you have, to compete for some championships down the road.
Where do you want Rodgers to go then? Steelers?
Steelers.
To what? Make a playoff appearance and be out in the first round?
I just don't want him to go to the Vikings. You drafted somebody 10th overall.
Chase, can Aaron Rodgers bring the Vikings a Super Bowl?
That's where I was getting, Acho. Yeah, I think he can. I think he can. I've been very vocal about it. Look, I think if you bring Rodgers in and you have a conversation with KOC, and KOC and him, Kevin O'Connell, Offensive Coach of the Year, Head Coach of the Year, all this stuff, if you have a conversation with Aaron Rodgers and understand he is a one-year rental, and you bring him in here to win a Super Bowl and you set realistic expectations, how are him and Kevin O'Connell going to mesh? What kind of offense are we going to run? How will him and J.J. McCarthy mesh? Because I think that's a bigger part of it. Is Aaron willing to not teach J.J., but to usher him in to an era, okay? Will he be disruptive in the locker room? All this stuff, you have to be careful about the dynamic, because on the field, what I saw from Rodgers' last 10 games, based on play alone, he can absolutely lead this team to a Super Bowl. Now, it's not unrealistic to think that, because if you're able to get 14 wins with Sam Darnold, surely you can do it with Aaron Rodgers. And I like J.J. McCarthy. I do think J.J. McCarthy is going to be good in the NFL. But right now, there's a lot of unknown. The young buck has not played any football, okay? And if you have a guy, a future Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers out there, and you feel like he's not going to be super disruptive to the locker room, how can you sit here and tell me that right now, on paper, Aaron Rodgers does not easily give you the best chance to win a Super Bowl over J.J. McCarthy?
I want to answer that. So the reason why I think they can win a Super Bowl, Chase, to answer your question.
Can or can't?
Can or can't?
Can't. Absolutely
With
can't.
Rodgers.
Right? No way. The reason why is because he's in his 20th season, gentlemen. 4 MVPs, right? For all that said, you got 1 Super Bowl appearance. And that's when you was MVP 4 times, Aaron Rodgers. And y'all telling me a declining 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers torn ACL, he won a championship now today? Let me say it again. Hold up, Chase.
Achilles, right?
2011 is when he went to Super Bowl with James Jones, and they won a Super Bowl. 4 MVPs amongst that duration, right? That's when he was the man. That's when everybody want to be like Aaron Rodgers, okay? And y'all telling me now he gonna win a Super Bowl? And he only won it 1 time? When he was the best of the best? Absolutely not. I think he's great talent. I think he's has a great career. But it just makes no sense you telling me that at your best of your career, when you was MVP, number 1, quarterback 1, you've been there 1 time. Not won more than 1 championship. Not been there more than 1 championship. Not been there 3 times, maybe lost 2 of them. No, you've only seen it once. You've only seen confetti 1 time on your green or somebody else's team. It's only been there once. So all I'm saying is there's no way you could go there in the Super Bowl today at 40 years old when at your best of your career, you couldn't.
All right, if you don't believe me, then believe history, because history does not lie. In the last 3 decades, there has never been a quarterback that did not start a game in his first year as a rookie, take over in the second year, and lead their team to the playoffs. Not even the playoffs. In the last 30 years. Do you want to go from 14 wins in fight history to Aaron Rodgers and to not make the playoffs?
Where are we going with this? The question was, can Aaron Rodgers bring the Vikings?
But I'm saying, listen to if you sure can't win a Super Bowl with JJ McCarthy.
Now,
history will tell you that right here.
I think there's because I'm with you, and let me bring it back to being found. Rodgers can't win the Vikings a Super Bowl. JJ can't this year either. Yeah. But that's a different conversation. If we were to say who on this desk gives the best opportunity to beat Usain Bolt in the race, James with success, James has a better chance.
Not right now.
But
his hip flexor.
But James ain't gonna do it either. So I feel y'all when y'all say Rodgers gives them the best chance. Sure. Yeah. But Rodgers ain't going to win the Vikings a Super Bowl like Shady suggested. And if the question is, can Rodgers bring the Vikings a Super Bowl? Absolutely not. Yeah. Can Rodgers get the Vikings closer than J.J. McCarthy? Absolutely. But there's no, I mean, if I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers the last 3 seasons, he's 13-21, 216 yards a game, 54 touchdowns, 23 interceptions, a 90 passer rating. 24th, 20th, 15th, 21st. That's over 2 different teams, 2 different franchises, 2 different offensive minds, 2 different number 1 wide receivers, 2 different everything, including the year in which he got hurt. I'm excluding that because he started 1 game in which Zach Wilson played the majority of the snaps and actually won. So nothing suggests over the last 3 seasons that Aaron Rodgers can bring the Vikings a Super Bowl. However, of course y'all are right on the left side of the desk. Rodgers gives them a better chance than J.J. McCarthy, but Rodgers don't give him a realistic chance.
Wait, James, because that wasn't the question, right? The question was, can he bring the Super Bowl?
And no.
And I'm going to be super honest about Aaron Rodgers, though. He ain't really never been good in the playoffs. Let's keep it honest. I mean, he's won 2 playoff games in 7 years. And if you look at his career playoff record, he's 11-10.
That's why he only been to 1 Super Bowl.
So when we talk heavy about Aaron Rodgers, we need to talk heavy like this. He's a great player. He's a great talent. Yeah. But when we talk about winning some championships, like y'all talking to Super Bowls,
you can't take the champion away from him, though.
Bro, all the other greats that we talk about, they got more than 1 championship.
No doubt.
They got more than one. They got more than 1 appearance.
No doubt.
So if y'all want to talk about winning the Super Bowl and being realistic and not just being some fantasy football stuff and all that. He's 11-10 in the playoffs. Yeah. That's not really that good.
Yeah, that's all.
And he's had the number 1 seed a lot of times. Yeah.
That's all.
So let's just be honest.
If you're really quick though, because I want to get back to what you're saying. Because Shady, he really aggressive with me talking about Aaron Rodgers.
He's been aggressive all day.
And I said no.
He's been aggressive all day.
But I be getting crazy sometimes.
No, that's not crazy at all.
When Shady was talking, you said that there's never been a second-year quarterback take a team to the playoffs. Why does that matter, though?
Because
really quick. Because the name of the game is to get your young players some reps, get your quarterback some reps. The first year might not mean playoffs or Super Bowl or none of that.
How can you go?
The next year and the year after that, you know what type of quarterback you got. With Aaron Rodgers coming in the building right now, even if, let's say, he can't take him to the Super Bowl, he can't take him to the Super Bowl. J.J. McCarthy is sitting behind this dude another year, so it's going to be, I don't know what the rate for a first-time starter is as a third year. But you understand what I'm saying? So, for me, it makes no sense. You drafted him number 10 overall, not in the 3rd round. We're not talking about a 3rd-round core. We're talking about a top 10 pick. Let the man play. You have a really good roster.
That's my issue is if they don't make the playoffs this year and they have J.J. McCarthy play and J.J. McCarthy for some reason plays awful, okay? I get it, but then you set your franchise back even more, at least this year, because they don't know. Why do you think the door's open?
Nobody knows.
Aaron, I called you Aaron. JJ, why do you think the door's even open? Why do you think the GM is getting up there saying, hey, we don't know if we're going to bring him in, but there's a possibility that we might bring him in? They didn't even tell the young buck he's the starter.
Which I don't like.
But they didn't do it. And if you're a player in the locker room, okay, take your analyst hat off now. Now I want your player hat back on. If you're Justin Jefferson, if you're Jordan Addison, if you're T.J. Hawkinson, you're Aaron Jones, which quarterback do you want? No.
Well, I know which quarterback do you want for 1 year.
Who?
But who? I want Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. That's not even close.
Who do you want leading your team?
I don't really know that. Because
I know that.
Let me tell you the reason why.
Superstar.
You keep saying that, but he hasn't been good for quite some time.
Jordan Jefferson. Who do you think wants him throwing the ball to him?
I mean, he said it. He talked about it.
Who?
He said he don't care. He had Sam Darnold for a whole season. He talked about it. But last thing real quick. If a franchise takes a player 10th overall.
Let him play.
What are we talking about here? Y'all all play the game. whatever team y'all played on, and the franchise draft a guy in the 10th pick, y'all telling me he don't get a chance to start and play?
Why do you think they have not completely shut the door on
Because
Aaron Rodgers?
because they don't know what, you got a young quarterback, they don't know.
Exactly. That's my whole point. You don't know. You have too good of a roster.
I'm saying I disagree with it, though.
But why? We can disagree with it.
But they don't.
They obviously do not.
But this is my thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't understand. It's like, look, you speak on like you speak on the franchise future with the Giants. That was a big concern with you. But then with this situation, it's like, well, let's get it right now. You know what I'm saying? With the Vikings.
Two completely different franchises. The Giants have not won anything. The Vikings at least have won 14 games, and they're a half game away from the 1 seed. They have a great roster.
But Chase, most teams want to get a quarterback, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you get a guy.
I agree. You got to be able to play him.
You get a guy in the 10th pick. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's real high.
That's high.
So I'm telling you, why draft if you're not going to let the guy play?
All I'm saying is there's something
Unless you had a guy like Aaron Rodgers back in the day with Green Bay and Jordan Love.
All I'm saying is there's something
so
there.
much to get to on today's show and hardly enough time for it. Hey, what up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.